How's it going, guys? Cameron here, is Canadian Gamer, coming at you with another video. Just having a little bit of fun here with my new camera that I picked up today. I actually picked up another camcorder, picked up a Sony DCR SX45, and when it came out a couple of years ago, it was a high-end camera for the time, and so I'm just sort of playing around with it today, getting used to it, and you saw me playing with the night vision capabilities of the camera. So that was one of the main reasons why I wanted to pick up this camcorder, because I want to start shooting some videos at night. You know, maybe go out to the wilderness and see if I can locate some animals in the dark using the night vision, and maybe, you know, make some other parody videos on the channel using the night vision. So the possibilities are endless. But yeah, an awesome camera. I picked it up. I got a really good deal on it. An older gentleman, he must have been almost 80 years old, and he was selling the camera for 125 bucks. I asked if he'd take 100, and he said he would. I showed up at his place, and he had the camera brand new, never been used. He said he bought it because several years ago he was taking a trip to China, and he was going to use the camcorder. It doesn't look like he ever used it. It came with the memory card, an extra battery pack, the bag, the Sony bag for the camera, and all these other gizmos and gadgets and wires and a remote that came with it as well. So maybe I'll put out a video showing off a little bit more of the camera. Let me know if you're interested. This one does shoot in 1080p, so it should look a little cleaner than my other video that I have been using. So the other thing I want to talk about, you guys saw the props I was using at the beginning of the video. I bought a couple of toy handguns at the dollar store, and I spray painted them like a matte black. So I figured, again, if I'm doing some parody videos on the channel, it almost looks like a real gun. Pretty cool, eh? So yeah, $4. Shot the guns with matte black paint that you can buy at the hardware store, and the rest was history. So yeah, pretty cool. So the main topic I want to talk about today, actually, let's just crack the beer first here. Beer of the day, Brava, poor man's Corona. I want to talk about a game that I got back into recently that gave me a terrible first impression, and that game would be Return to Castle Wolfenstein. And now, this game originally came out on the PC back in the day. Gosh, I don't know, maybe around 2001. And a couple of months later, it came out for the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox around the same time. I believe around May of 2001. Now, what's interesting about this is the version that we got for the original Xbox is titled Return to Castle Wolfenstein Tides of War. Now, there are some unique differences between the PlayStation 2 and the original Xbox version. You can look them up online if you want. But one of the biggest differences is the original Xbox has an opening chapter that was not available on the PC version, and it was not available on the PlayStation 2 version as far as I'm aware. And, you know, this game was developed by Nerve Software, which is the same dev team that did the DLC, the expansion pack for Doom 3. So, yeah, this game was, I guess, published by id Software. They had some sort of executive production credits on this. And this was critically acclaimed, and I had never really gotten into it. I heard so much about it. And I picked it up a couple of years ago when I picked up my original Xbox. And first impressions were bad. I put it on. Oh, and it's using the id Tech 3 engine. So that's the engine they used for Quake 3, often referred to as the Quake 3 engine. And that was just before id Tech 4 launched, which was used in Doom 3. So, yeah, first impressions when you're playing this game on the Xbox, you start off in, like, I want to say Egypt, and it's almost like a stealth game, almost like Thief. You start off with just a knife, and it's stealth-based. And I was just like, what the fuck is this? You know, I'm getting into this, you know, fast-paced run-and-gun first-person shooter, you know, maybe some similarities to Rise of the Triad. And here I am starting off with a knife, and I just die just like that. You just get picked off just like that. And I got completely turned off by it. This was like, God, I don't know, 6 years ago? And then I don't know what it was, but recently I'm like, maybe I should go back and give this another shot. So I think it was like last week. I put it on, and I got through the opening chapter, and then the game got really good. It got really good. So yeah, the opening chapter that they added to the original Xbox version of the game, it's up for debate whether or not that was really necessary, because I'm telling you, you have to go ahead and play this version of it. Play the first chapter, and you're like, I don't know. Then you get into chapter 2 where you get thrown in jail, and you're in Castle Wolfenstein locked up, and then you escape the prison. Right, your buddy gets electrocuted, and then you work your way out of the prison, and then you're underground a bit more, and you're feeling claustrophobic as you're underground. You're like, man, I just want to get out of this chapter. And the next thing you know, you're in Norway, okay? And you work your way through Norway, and you actually at one point you jump on a cart, one of those like skiing carts almost, that's in the air. And really cool set piece. Apparently the inspiration for that scene, I know I'm going all over the place here, was pulled from a movie that came out in the 60s. There were some sound effects used in this game from 2001, A Space Odyssey, which is one of my most favorite movies of all time, Stanley Kubrick. There's some incredible music in this game, classical music, Beethoven, Moonlight Sonata. So yeah, some fantastic aesthetics, music, set pieces, all the rest of it. You get out of Norway, you keep trucking along, and then you go to another area where you're in the woods, and then you get out of the woods and you get on a plane and you go back to Castle Wolfenstein, and then at the end of the game, you square off with this big, gigantic boss that's got a mustache and a beard. And, I'll say this game is tough. It's really tough. Especially towards the end of the game, I found myself playing it like I would with Doom 3 as an example, or Doom 64, where health is limited, metapacks aren't necessarily lying around all over the place. You have to sort of conserve some of your ammo. And it got to the point where, like, if I killed somebody, I would save my game in real time. If I entered an area where I got shot by an enemy, and my health went down halfway, I may have reloaded my last save just so I could give it a go again. And it got to the point right at the end of the game, right at the last chapter, I was saving my game every 15, 20 seconds. You shoot a guy without getting hit, save the game. Move on to the next room, get shot, reload the save. Go through, kill him again, save my game. Rinse and repeat. And then today I finally finished it. I got all the way through. And man, I just want to say, I don't care if nobody watches this video. I'm just hoping that at least one person watches this video and can at least agree with me and be like, yes, that game is absolutely freaking incredible. Because I had an absolute blast with this game. A blast. This game absolutely, for me personally, enters my top 10 of all time, top 10 video games. As far as first-person shooters are concerned, I still have Doom 3 at the top. Okay, I'd probably put Quake, the original Quake, at number 2. I'd put Doom 64 at number 3. And I would put this game at number 4. It was that good. I had that much fun with this game. Let me take a sip of my beer and we'll continue on. Is the game perfect? No. It, for whatever reason, runs... It's too dark on the original Xbox. And other reviewers have stated that as well. And I had to turn the brightness all the way up in-game, and it was still too dark. Which, in a way, kind of adds to the terror. In some cases, this game felt like a horror game, like a survival horror game, honest to God. You're dealing with aliens midway through the game. I don't know if they're aliens. I guess maybe you'd call them aliens. Skeleton zombies rising from their grave. Mutant dogs that are half mutant, half cyborgish. And there was even one scene where you walk down a hall and these two cyber dogs, they jump out of their crate, kind of like the original Resident Evil, and they're really hard to kill. And I was having such a hard time killing these dogs, and I looked up online a walkthrough to see how someone else got past this section. And I looked up a walkthrough, and it was actually someone playing the PC version of the game. And in the PC version, you walk down the same corridor, and those dogs aren't there. So they changed a whole bunch of stuff with the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2 version of this game. But I can't say for the PlayStation 2, I haven't played that version, but for the original Xbox, I'm not going to say the game's unplayable, but it has issues with the frame rate. So if I had to guess, it's running at like 20, 25 frames per second. It's not running at a solid 30. It's sure as hell not running at 60. The game doesn't really look that great. Again, it's using the id Tech 3 engine, so you'd think it would look pretty good, but it looks pretty... The colors are pretty washed out. It looks good in some areas. In some areas it doesn't, but I feel like it's not necessarily the game's fault. I think it has more to do with maybe a combination of it being ported to the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2. Because I've seen this game on the PC at high res and everything turned up to the max and it looks a lot better. But I don't know. You'd think the original Xbox would be able to handle this game no problem, but I don't know. I don't think so. So the game looks good. You can see that the assets are there for a game to look good, but it looks, I don't know, kind of washed out on my TV. Maybe I need to play it on a CRT. The weapons are really good. You get anything from a sniper rifle to a twin pistols. You get later on in the game, you get like a weird like electrical gun that can electrocute everybody on the screen. You get a rocket launcher. You get grenades. But the problem is later on in the game, the enemies get so powerful that a lot of the other weapons that you have in your disposal, you don't really use them a whole lot, because if you do, you're not going to get too far. You pretty much have to use your most powerful weapons, with the exception of the sniper rifle. That one there I use quite a bit. There's actually two sniper rifles that you get, but one of them has night vision capability, and man, it's so awesome. You could snipe somebody from like what seems like a kilometer or a couple of miles away, and you can snipe them. You can absolutely snipe them. I played the game without aim assist on. I shut it off, and it wasn't bad at all. It was not bad at all. Pretty good hit detection, not bad. And yeah, what else is there? Something else I wanted to say about the weapons is, the enemies. That's it. So this game has incredible AI. Incredible. So like, I was just mentioning, you've got a scope, you got binoculars, you've got your scope on your sniper rifle. Let's say you see a guy and he's like 5 miles away, as an example. I don't know if it's really 5 miles, but it seems like it. Let's say you're on one side of the castle and you see a guy on the other side, right? And a lot of the game is stealth based. You can literally sneak around without being detected. But let's say you take a shot at him with your sniper rifle, right? And let's say you miss and he starts running, okay? If you stay where you are, he will come get you. He will literally come get you. He will run from one side of the map all the way to the other, and he will find you. Go ahead and lock yourself in a room somewhere. Eventually the door will open and he'll come barreling in. It's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. So the developers obviously designed the AI in such a way that the AI is able to track where you are and they run for you. They come for you. It's crazy. So a lot of times I would camp out and I would wait for the door to open and then I would shoot like a madman. So yeah, a lot of fun. Absolutely a lot of fun. And, you know, with this game, another negative I would say I wouldn't say it's a negative, but there's no map on each stage. You have no map that I'm aware of. I didn't see that there was a map. I never needed one. I got through each chapter just fine without a map. The level design is not so convoluted that you're going to get lost at all. You know, same goes with, I hate to keep bringing it up, but Doom 3, back in the day, I never used the map for that either. You get to know the levels intimate enough when you're running through them that you don't really need a map for these earlier FPS games, I find. But similar to Doom 3, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, the level design, it's somewhat linear, so it is go from point A to point B and get to the end of the level and move on to the next. Or you could even say the original Doom is like that as well. But it just never got boring. Each mission, each chapter changed up the set dressing just enough that you were never bored with it at all. I think there was one chapter later on in the game. I think it was chapter 5. That chapter kind of pissed me off. I really didn't enjoy that. I found when you're in the catacombs, when you're underground, it kind of wore on me a bit. You really feel claustrophobic, and you just want to get out of there and get back outside. But yeah, all that. Oh, and the cutscenes are so good in this game too. So depending on the version that you play, there's different cutscenes. I think the PlayStation 2 might have pre-rendered cutscenes, whereas I think in this one, some of the cutscenes are in-game engine. So yeah, a lot of differences, absolutely. But yeah, I can't recommend this enough. I don't know if any of you guys watching this video have played this, if you're understanding what it is that I'm saying. But it was amazing. I haven't had this much fun playing an FPS since I played Doom 3 a couple of months ago. Or excuse me, Doom 64 a couple of months ago. I was streaming that on my channel. I had so much fun with that. And I had a lot of fun with this one as well. So yeah, 2001. So it came out 21 years ago. But man, does it ever hold up. And it's funny, apparently the multiplayer was the big selling point of this game back in the day. But for me personally, I play these games for the single player campaign, and for me, that's where this shines. It was just such a good campaign. I was sucked into the story. I love it. I absolutely love this game. I love it so much. I kind of want to play it on the PC to see how much better it looks, and to be able to play it with a mouse and keyboard would probably be a lot easier. Although it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad playing it on the original Xbox. You know, playing this game reminds me of how much I love the S controller on the original Xbox. I think I like the S controller more than the Xbox 360 controller, and more than the modern Xbox controller. You know, the modern Xbox controllers are not built that great. I haven't talked about it on the channel, but I dropped one the other day. And it was one that I hadn't been using a whole lot, mint condition. I dropped it, and after I dropped it, it stopped working. Whereas that shit doesn't happen with these older controllers. Even like a Sega, and we're getting off topic here, but a Sega Genesis controller, you could literally throw that thing at the wall and it's not going to break. Whereas a lot of the modern technology is a lot more temperamental, but we could save that for another day. So yeah, we're already at the 19-minute mark, so I probably should cut this off. But yeah, closing remarks. I give this game a 10 out of 10. The only thing that was disappointing about it was rather dark. Like I said, to play this on the original Xbox, and it was really, 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 really hard. But if any of you guys are watching this and you have played it and you really like this game, leave it in the comments below. I want to know that I'm not the only one that thinks this game is an absolute masterpiece. So yeah, so that's it. I don't have the Wolfenstein game that came out after this on the PS3 and the Xbox 360. That one I never really see out in the wild, unfortunately. And as for the more modern Wolfenstein games, I've never played them, but I've heard nothing but good things. So, yeah, so I'm going to leave it there. Anyways, guys, thanks so much for listening to me ramble. I was just really excited to talk a little bit about this game. And I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Take care.